Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hello, Ginger. There's a few other people here. Let's see. Hope everybody's doing good. Having a good night. Hello, Joyce. Good to see you. We're continuing our series on Sebastian. And we're going to basically watch a video tonight that actually was sent to me, and I thought we could discuss it and go from there. There's also so much going on, guys. I'll just go ahead and share. Let's see, I think it's in here first. So Nick put out something, says they aren't even hiding anymore. If somebody gets hurt, the blood is on Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's hands. I'm not, you guys can read it for yourself. But that's horrible. That's horrible. You know, even if you're just speaking in anger and you don't mean it, shouldn't be putting anything like that in there, right? K9, good to see you. Welcome. Guys, continue to keep Brenda Jo in your prayers. She's been pretty sick. She's been going to the doctor for tests and hasn't gotten anything back, but yeah, she's been pretty ill. Feel bad for her. I haven't seen her in over a week, and that's unusual. Yeah, and then let's see, I was going to present something by Hong. So right here, he says, okay, I will stop bothering people who stop bothering people from this moment on. The pissing match is over. Thank you. Everybody be nice now. It's time to act our age together. I don't know. Do you think that's going to stop? I stop anything? I don't think so. Yeah, it really is messed up, Joyce. I just feel so bad. When is the garbage going to stop in this case? I feel like we've had to kind of silence ourselves and, and all this other kind of stuff. And I know many people aren't, right? But I'm just not. I'm going to still say Sebastian's name. I'm still going to tell what I think happened to him. Most of you who have been in here know who I think is responsible. Could I be wrong? I could be. But then a lot of the rest of us are wrong as well. And not just us. I mean, many, many, many people. But whoever, because I don't believe he left the home, right? So whoever took him, abducted him, took him out of that home, is responsible, right? And we have nothing. We have no proof of anything, but something's got to give, right? And all this going back and forth at each other, that gotcha. It's like that may have come from a child. Oh, okay. Well, see, now children are even getting involved in it. And they don't know better. Look what kind of examples being set. Right, Joyce. Yeah, I don't think so either. Um, but I guess we'll find out in the end. But I'm going to play a video from a guy that was at one of Seth's vigils, and he's been kind of speaking out. And he said, well, I'll just let you hear it. But to me, what he's saying makes sense. So let's do this.
These two stories very upsetting is because I believe they're very similar in the fact that in Sebastian's case, where I don't know all the details, right? But the details I do know, and what I think is very, very credible. I think you have a situation of a step parent who maybe sees the child as a nuisance or you know getting in his way of sorts. And I think it could be a very sticky situation when it's not your son, it's not your blood, it's not your heir, to easily try to contemplate how can I can resolve this situation, right? Just like in the Baby Joe case, obviously you went to extremes, and that's like I said, it's just incredibly unfortunate, and not to seek adoption or another parent or a grandparent or anything like that, because you have thousands of people that would have easily stepped in, would have easily stepped or supported, right? And that goes back to the community of people who are not affected by autism. I really want, because people do want to help, and they always ask me, they're like, how can I help? And I tell them, I was like, do you know someone that's affected by autism? And they go, yeah. I said, call them up, ask them, what can I do for you today? I said, you'll be surprised the answer you get. You might get a couple answers, actually. And but I think there's some similarities there. I've looked at it, I've watched it, dug into it, and I just think there's some similarities there, unfortunately, where I think with a stepfather involved, um, there's opportunity there, just from what I know about the case, where his life and his life with the mom would be something different without that child. And and I have no, you know,
His life would be somewhat different without that child. Think about that, guys, right? What was said? Sebastian thought he could get me out of the house. Just some things that, hit home, right? And, you know, the thoughts that he's putting on here are his thoughts, his opinions, right? Um, don't necessarily um, mean that I agree with everything he's saying, although so far I have to say I do. um, and any statements that I make are statements that can be proven. Um, you know, as far as being said in an interview or a chat room. So yeah, but I found that interesting how he said that stepfather's life with the mother would be different without that child in it. That's really interesting.
I have no problem saying that, just because I think it's the truth. I think it's the most honest thing I could say. And that's what I love about this world now. We should seek the truth and know the truth. podcast is going to be called Truth Autism. Yeah.
Yep.
But I believe that to be true. I believe that because of what I've seen, the evidence and things like that, and what I know about kiddos with autism, and just detective work in general. Like I said, I'm hooked on that stuff, and I don't think Sebastian walked out of that house and walked away. I don't. I truly believe that. It just doesn't add up.
Me either. How many of us believe that? I mean, there's no scent trail. He didn't walk out. So, how did he get out? That's the question, right? It had to have been an abduction of some kind, whether it was familial, meaning by family, or a kidnapping, right? Something like that.
The whole thing doesn't add up. And I truly believe someone knows where he is, or someone knows what happened. Just because in Sebastian's case, level one, verbal, had a cell phone, went to high school. So it's not a 3-year-old walking out the door in the middle of the night. It's not a 5-year-old walking out the door in the middle of the night. You're talking about a teenage boy who has never eloped. And that was fact. The mom said he's never eloped. He's never done it. He's never walked out. And to have that happen in the middle of the night, and there's not a trace of him, past 300 or 400 yards from the house. No scent, no nothing. It's nothing. And there's been some great people to do a lot of work, broken down the lights, the flashlights, all those different things. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't. I look at the truth and I look at the facts, and they're like, oh, the blinking lights weren't any. I'm like, the lights are blinking. 2 + 2 is 4. Don't sit here and tell me that it's nothing. It's.
I love what he's saying there, guys. There are too many coincidences, right? Law enforcement says that the flashlights have no evidentiary value. Bull. I call bull. Right? Too many coincidences. Like he said, 2 + 2 = 4. You can't take away that those blinking lights, those flashlights in the common area between the houses was some kind of coincidence. They weren't. Hello, Charity. Good to see you. Glad you're here. But yeah, no coincidences. I don't believe in them. I love how he said that. I would have never thought to say it like that. All right, let's
Something. But I think somebody knows what happened. But I also bring it back to, and I look back on, the stepdad's, his past, and the mother of his child says the same things about him, and it's the same situation. It's someone who has the capabilities of doing something that he's already done. Why not, or why couldn't that behavior be repeated? And it's something that I think Seth and I are really, he's got no support from Hendersonville. They closed the case or just walked away from the case. TBI hopefully is doing their due diligence, and that's what we're doing here, which I'm so glad, we're talking about it, because it's coming up on a year.
Yeah.
And
did you catch what he said there, guys? First he said, Sumner County closed the case or walked away from the case. TBI is the one that is talking to Seth, although we just saw that email. I think it was that Justin put out that said Detective Carter is still working on the case. What are your thoughts? Do you believe that? Do you believe Sumner County is working on the case yet? Or here's a thought. I don't know. I'm just saying, did TBI see something in Sumner County that said, you guys will take over? Something's wrong here. We'll take over. Hello, SRB. Good to see you. I mean, that makes me wonder a little bit because I don't know for sure what this guy's name is. I wish I did. I remember seeing him, and he is an advocate for children with autism. He has some kind of foundation, nonprofit. So, he has been talking to Seth. Hello, Cheryl. Good to see ya. So it makes you wonder what does he know? Momming it up. Hello, hello. Yeah, it makes you wonder what's really going on with law enforcement, right? What is really going on? And then you've got Nick, who is saying that TBI needs to do something about all these threats that are going out to people, right? And I know there's going to be people out there that say Hong deserved it, whatever. No, nobody ever deserves their life threatened. I don't care what the circumstance is. That's just like saying a woman deserved getting hit because she was always mouthing off to her husband. No, that's never an answer. And I don't know if that's what made Hong put that out there, that he's going to behave. He's not going to talk bad about anybody who doesn't talk bad about anybody or something. I don't know. Let me see what that said again. I will stop bothering people who stop bothering people from this moment on. That's what he said. I don't know if honestly, I don't think Han can help himself. And don't get me wrong, I like Hong. I do. And he doesn't deserve death threats. He does not. He also put out some pictures today. It is canine. It's hard to keep up with Hong. I honestly, and I've seen a lot in this world, let me tell you, but sometimes I just don't get what he's saying. I don't know if I'm not in on the joke or what it is, but I'm like, what? I'll look at something, I'll go, what? Um, but let's continue on with this, and then I'll show you those things from Hong.
And we need to make sure, because these cases will get pushed down and pushed away. But I truly think
Bastion's case is not getting pushed
that
down.
more needs to be done, because I mean, just everything that just led up to his disappearance, and then dad not being there, and then then he's there, and then he calls the police, not her. And then all these other things that are, then they just disappear, right? They don't talk to the media, they don't do anything. Hey, help me find. But they do these terrible, terrible interviews where there's this. She looks like she's scared to death. He just looks, as confident as he can be. Um, it's very frustrating. And I know the truth is out there, but we're going to need help to find that truth. And there's only so much Seth can do, right? Because
Amen.
he's been handcuffed, so to speak, in his
Yep.
voice. And law enforcement has not reached out to him. They don't work with him. Um, he's tried to do a lot of different things to, I think.
Okay. What he just said there, though, I don't think that's true anymore. Okay. Because Seth has said differently. Um, Seth has said that they're staying in touch with him. So, um, I don't know if he hasn't, because this was just, I believe, um, done like 4 days ago. So I don't know if he hasn't talked to Seth recently. Um, that may be. But from everything I've heard, um, we heard it on Seth's Last Live. Law enforcement is talking to him regularly, almost daily, I think he said, didn't he? So what he just said there isn't true anymore, unless all of a sudden they stop talking. But I don't think so, because Tony and Seth said there's some news that's coming. So
They need to reevaluate this case heavily. And I don't
hello,
know why they
Sylvester.
won't,
Good to see
right?
you.
Because it's not going away, right? I mean, it's not going away. We're not going to let it go away. I wish I had more influence, um, to help the case get back in front of the right people, because I think there's a lot of evidence there. There's a lot of things that are there that were just kind of like, and I mean, people just don't disappear, right? They don't, and I think about the Clyde case, right? If the mom does come forward, we still haven't found him, right? But the only reason why we know the truth is because the mom, right? Well, in this case, does Sebastian's mom know the truth? Does she? And she's just not saying it, because they're very similar that way. Because we can't find baby Joe, we can't find Sebastian, and
I don't know what case he's talking about. Do you guys know? And yes, K9, there would be an uprising. The public is not going to let this case go away. But he did say something that is absolutely correct. Seth's handcuffed. There's only so much that Seth can do. He has done everything. I mean, bringing Dog and Nick on at night, you know. And yeah, Ginger, Tony has said that law enforcement is getting it done and we should have faith, you know. Um, I'm not going to bash law enforcement because I don't know what they're doing or not doing. I do kind of wonder about Sumner County, I'm not going to lie. Um, but I'm hoping upon hope that TBI, FBI, the Secret Service were involved, right? I'm hoping upon hope that if there is corruption anywhere, it'll be found out. What show are you talking about, SRB? Oh, this guy? Okay. This guy that we're watching? Hmm. All right, continue on.
And these, obviously at his age, he wasn't going anywhere, right? And with Sebastian's case, he was too old to do that. He was too old to even think about doing that. And if he did do that, somebody somewhere would have, saw him, picked him up. No, nothing in it, nothing. And that doesn't settle with me. And it almost angers me. And that's where, me as a person and Jacob's Audible and everything, that's why we stand with Seth, and we're not going to stop um, until we find him or we find out what happened. And I don't care if it takes, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
No,
He
it's not
needs
gonna
to
take that long.
he needs to be found, or someone needs to continue to look into this thing, because I know we don't get everything from law enforcement. We probably get about 10% of what really goes on or what really is going on. So hopefully they are.
Did you hear that? We only get about 10% of what's really going on. Oh, the whole interview of this excerpt. Okay. No, nothing yet, Cheryl. Trust me. I'll come on and talk about it for sure. But yes, I mean, we only hear about 10% of what's going on. We've said before, it'd be nice to know what they know, but I would never want to hinder an investigation, right? Okay, and you'd be surprised we get that much. Yeah. I think that's like an average, but I think no, what we've gotten is come from at night investigations. I mean, Craddock even downplayed the flashlights video. And um, so momming it up. I have my opinion. If it's what I think, I'm very disappointed because I've asked about it for months. Well, I mean, we can only wait and see, right? I'm hoping. I mean, I don't know. This case is so heartbreaking, right? I mean, it's just with all the stuff going on, I feel sometimes like our channel is like in this little cocoon. I'm trying to keep y'all safe here. And then there's just evil going on around outside. It's horrible. It's horrible. And it just makes me want to stay in our little bubble, our little cocoon, because until everything comes out with this case, oh, what's important is Sebastian, right? That's what's important.
There are some people that are still doing the work, because I think the people that are involved are right in front of us. It's that simple. And I hope and pray, my heart and my love goes out to Seth, but I do have these dreams and these thoughts sometimes, that I get a call from my mom or someone, a text, and they found him, right? And I get choked up a little bit, because it would just be the greatest. I don't know. It would just be one of the greatest moments
Yeah.
that you could think of, because we didn't stop, we didn't stop fighting. We didn't stop. Um, we have to be warriors for the warriors, right? And I just hope, if someone's out there listening, or if by any grace of God, someone would come forward and say, "Hey, I know what happened. Hey, I know what happened to Sebastian Rogers." Uh, I think that'd be, one of the greatest days of my life, for sure.
And not only for others, but for Sebastian.
Absolutely. And it also would give, the mission, right?
Wow. Yes, wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, won't that be awesome? Yes. Yes, we have to be very cautious because, I think I said it on here last night that, we're not going to talk about the parents, I will talk about Seth, and I will say how I want Sebastian home for him, because I will unequivocally state that in my heart of hearts, I do not believe Seth had anything to do with this. He has an alibi. He's provided receipts to prove that alibi. So, nothing there. Regarding the other side, we're just not going to go there because I know that they're sending people into chats. They're looking to take people to court. So, guys, we're just not going to give them anything. It's just not going to happen. Um, you know, and that's sad because we have the right to free speech, you know, and we should be able to address and say our opinions, but it is what it is. And, it has gotten overboard. And I know other people aren't being quiet, and that's up to them, right? That's totally up to them. I can't afford a lawyer, and I'm not going to come to you guys and say, please help me. I'm not going to do it. I won't. And I don't want any of my people getting caught for anything. So I just want to encourage you, if you are in any other chats, please be careful what you're saying, okay? Because I care about you guys. I wouldn't want to see anybody in my family here, any of my crime busting family, to be in trouble for anything. I really wouldn't. Just would bother me a lot. What gets me in these cases and suspects admitted plenty, but yet they are still running free, spreading their lies as usual and threatening others. I know. I mean, I showed one tonight, right? And, if it was a child, it was a child. But even that makes me sad, because if that was a child of a creator, what is that child hearing? If that child said something like that, what is that child hearing? Right? They're going out of their ways to make themselves look a certain way to sue, and that's not going to fly. Yeah. Yeah. But in the meantime, the people that they do sue have to pay for lawyers and everything else, and it just, I love what I'm doing here, and I love the community I'm building. I love all of you, and I'm not gonna stop because some people just have no morals. It got change. Hello, hello. Right? If we walk crooked, we'd be in trouble. It is. It's so disgusting. It really is. And yeah, I I just can't even I I wasn't raised that way, right? So it blows my mind that people talk the way they talk and act the way that they act, and um it you know, I I know there's evil. I know there's evil in the world, and but it's gotten bad. It's gotten really bad. But, you know, I was watching the mop crew, and he was showing that car and showing how the car wasn't sitting sideways. It was like looking from the back end of it top down. And I thought that was interesting. He is so good at figuring out those videos, guys. I encourage you to go over when we're done here and watch. Um, I'm going to finish watching it. I paused it and watch his live from tonight because it's really good. I don't think I'll be visiting Tennessee anytime soon. You know what, Ginger? I loved Tennessee when I lived there. I, I guess because I'm not the type of person that would hang with those type of people, I maybe was sheltered from it because I didn't live that far from them. Um, I remember my husband and I we lived in Nashville for a year in an apartment, right? Well, when we had to take his stepson in, who we knew was trouble. I mean, he came to us because he had thrown his stepdad down the stairs, right? So they wanted us to take him. So we knew he was trouble. Well, we had a one-bedroom apartment and we were living in Nashville. And I said to my husband, I don't think Nashville is where we should put him in school for his last year. I mean, I just thought, no, I don't, maybe we should, you know, drive around, look at the surrounding communities, and maybe move to a suburb, right? And so we did that, right? And did we go through Hendersonville? Of course we did. We looked it up. But Hendersonville, well, you saw the house that Sebastian lived in. I mean, those homes, they're nice. There's a lot of country music stars that have homes there. Um, so, it is more expensive. So that was probably the biggest reason. The rents were really expensive and that kind of thing. And so, I mean, we weren't made of money, right? So, we kept looking and we got to Portland. We're like, oh, this town seems kind of nice. Well, I mean, it wasn't the greatest. it, I, Drugs are huge in that area, and they were in Portland. Bad. Um, so yeah, we did check out Hendersonville. I'm glad. I am so glad we didn't end up there, right? But I did love Tennessee. I love the weather, um, the rolling hills, the countryside. I love the fact that I was only, um, a little over a half hour away from Nashville, so that if I wanted to do some heavy duty shopping, I could. There's, um, or just do anything. People come from out of town to visit. You've got some place to take them to, right? So I did love it, but Um, hmm, not sure what you're talking about, Sylvester, but please don't mention other creators, okay? Yeah, it is beautiful, but boy, we're finding out there's a lot of corruption in Tennessee, isn't it? A lot of corruption. And especially in Nashville. I didn't realize that, that it was kind of funny because I moved down there because that's where my girls were living, right? And I wanted to be closer. No. Oh, no, no, no. You wouldn't want me to sing. You would not want me to sing. That is funny. Oh my gosh. Everyone was asked when was the last time they saw their boy. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you, Sylvester. That experience should not have happened. Um, and yeah, they're not following the law. Just fuzzy thing. The teacher asked the same questions and they all said the same things. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's not good. It's not good. There's, I mean, it's really gotten horrible when you're in court for your amendment rights. Yeah, Ginger said, I've done some research and there's a lot of really bad crime in that area. There is. Um, Sumner County, guys. Seriously. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to show you. Let me look it up. Oh, yeah. Let's see. My computer's acting up, so I'm not going to be able to do it. But seriously, I think it's StreamYard goofing up again. Look up Sumner County inmates, guys. And then just kind of scroll through. There are 75 pages of Sumner County inmates. And I mean, it's everything. It's probation violation, it's drugs, it's burglary, it's SA, it's DB. I mean, felony. It's horrible. It's just horrible. And there's like on each page, there's 74, 75 pages, something like that. And on each page there's like 5 or 6 offenders on each page. Yes. Yes. I'm not lying. You can Google it for yourself, SRB. You can and you can see it all. There's some scary people in there, and that's Sumner County. That's just Sumner County. That's not Davidson. Nashville is Davidson County. Nashville, Clarksville. That's Davidson County. This is Sumner County. This is Hendersonville, Gallatin, Portland, White House. Yeah. I mean, it's, actually it got changed. They need help. Law enforcement does need more help. Especially nowadays with what is it? Missing persons cases. It's awful. It is terrible. There's too many. And it's taking up all their time that they're not able to. But I don't know. Sumner County has a pretty good record of having people in jail. But here's what gives you an idea. So I think I mentioned before that my stepson he ran away, right? And when the police were called, I think there's a small town airport, right? And they said there was kids and they were burglarizing vehicles or something in the area by the airport. So police were called there. And they found my stepson. And they stopped him and they said, "What is your name?" And he actually gave his middle name. And they asked him what his last name was, and he told them. And the one officer said, "Hey, that's the kid that we're looking for from Minnesota," right? Because that's where my ex was from. And so my stepson ran, and where he ran to, the police knew it was a dead end. He couldn't get out. And so he came back around the building and he tackled the officer and broke his holster for his radio or whatever. And they ended up having to tase him. So they called us. They said, "We've got him, in juvie, in juvie jail," right? And we can keep him overnight. And we both said, "No. I mean, can't you keep him longer? Because this kid needs to learn that what he did was wrong," right? They said, "Well, we can keep him up to 5 days as long as we don't need the beds." And after 3 days, we had to go get him because they needed the beds. So that kind of gives you an idea of how busy it is in Sumner County, even with juvenile offenders, right? And you can see I'm kind of tough on, I mean, come on. He was 18. He was just being a little brat. He was being naughty. He thought he could do anything he wanted to do, and it didn't matter. He was even attacking police officers. He deserved to sit in jail. And we found out that all he got to eat was beans and cornbread. Maybe not all the right people in jail. Maybe not. You need to reserve a couple of spots for a few more people, Joyce. That's funny. Yeah, but we worked with the officers and, um, did, we we had a good relationship with those officers. I will say that. They listened. But that was some years ago. Hello, Pitter Patter. Did he learn his lesson, K9? No, unfortunately, he didn't. He went back to Minnesota, and I mean, he still reaches out to me now and again, just to chat with me, which I appreciate. I treated him like he was my own, good, bad, and indifferent. I mean, I loved him like my own. Um, you remind me of my dad who wanted me to sit in jail for swearing on the public streets. Oh, come on now. He did more than that, Ginger. I wouldn't want you sitting in jail for swearing on public streets. I'd wash your mouth out with soap. No, I wouldn't. But I wouldn't want you sitting in jail for that. But no, and he's been in and out of rehab. Oh gosh, 3 or 4 times, I think. Um, he's in a halfway home now. Yeah. And he was such a good-looking kid. Blonde hair, I mean, blue eyes. He was gorgeous, Um, very musically inclined and, could draw anything. Um, he could listen to a song and he could play it on the guitar. He was really good at the drums. Just the smartest kid you'd ever wanna see, but drugs, big time drugs. You prefer the bar stuff over that liquid stuff, huh? Oh, gotcha. I never did do that with my kids. That's funny. But no, he was bad. I mean, he would even, you know, get up in his dad's face and scream at him, hoping that his dad would hit him, and just the kid was messed up big time. So I don't know. I don't know what happened in his young life, but I'd never had that done to me. I had the belt, but I never had soap. Or did. But I raised my girls in church, so swearing wasn't a thing, right? I mean, just doesn't happen. But that too. You had the belt too. Yeah. I think we talked about that before. Oh, I was gonna show you guys. Um, some of Hong's. How far down were they? Oh, TikTok was back for a while, guys. Is it still back? I don't know. I thought there was something else that Hong had put out. And of course, I can't find it. Was it Nick? Hmm. No. Maybe it was on another platform. I know that they're going after TBI for not reporting people. And tomorrow night, guys, the Laurel Lodge will be interviewing SF. That is going to be interesting. I think it's at, let's see. Oh, so it's at 6:00 our time. So what do you think, guys? Hi, Aquarian. Good to see you. You had to swear to fit in. I don't like TikTok either. Yeah, he did get threatened today. I played that earlier. I was thinking it's usually about the same time when the Lore Lodge interviews SF is about the same time that we go live. Do you think he'll show up? I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he will? Because he says it right here. At 7 p.m. regarding his findings in the Sebastian Rogers case, and then he was asking for people who had questions. I don't know, because that was going to be my question. Do you guys want to just not have our live tomorrow night and talk about it on Tuesday night? Maybe even watch that interview again, or do you think he's not going to show up? That's a good point, Ginger. He may not. I don't know. I don't think, though, that that's what I was just going to say. His ego's not going to let him not show up. Aquarian, it's not Seth. It's the private investigator for the other side that's going to be interviewed by Aiden at the Lore Lodge. Yeah, Seth would do whatever Seth would go on wherever. But it's SF Investigates that's going to be on the Lore Lodge tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Time. So I think he will show up. Yeah, no problems. I know that I think the Lore Lodge said that they're going to be interviewing Seth and Tony as well. Not tomorrow night, but some other time in the future. So yeah, it should be interesting, in my opinion. So I think what we'll do is hello, Betty. She said, my mom raised me half my young life in a bar, and when she got mad, I got hit with any. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. My mom used to threaten to bust our lips open with her wedding ring. Yeah. And the funny thing was, I was afraid to do anything wrong. But she'd go to the bar and she'd come home. My mom was a mean drunk, right? And she'd come home and boy, anything that we might have done that whole week or up to the last time she had been out drinking, we were in trouble for. 2:00 in the morning, even if there was school the next day. It was not fun. Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, I think that she was not happy with herself, right? In later years, I mean, I forgave her. She was there for me through my divorce, and, I was there for her when she was passing away from cancer, and we had good talks, so it was all okay in the end. So it's just you don't forget those things, I'm sure, Betty, you can relate to that. You just don't forget those things. Who got threatened today? Hong did. So I don't know if it's in here. Actually, I think it is. I screenshotted it. That's what it was. So Nick put it out. He said they aren't even hiding anymore. If somebody gets hurt, the blood is on Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's hands. And this person said this right here, and I'm not going to repeat it out loud. You guys can read it for yourself. And this was Chu Hong. But, keep in mind, they've been getting threats all along. And this one, I guess, was a child of a creator, which is just as bad, in my opinion, because what is that child hearing, right? If it's a child of a creator that says that, well, what is that child hearing in their household that they would write something like that, right? It's just not good. And using their parents' platform to write it. But yeah, so this case is horrific. I cannot wait for the day when they tell us they found Sebastian and they're bringing him home. I really can't. It's kind of like the guy on the video that we were talking about tonight. What he said, how he said he has dreams sometimes that somebody texts him and says they found him, or his mom calls him to tell him. Yeah. That's what Ginger heard, I believe. Yeah. That's all alleged. We don't know. I mean, we saw the threat, right? But right, Betty? Exactly. It's just evil. It where has everybody's moral compass gone, right? What are parents teaching their children nowadays? I don't understand, right? Or are some of these creators that have children spending so much time that they're on the computer or whatever, that their children are hearing them say this stuff? I mean, I I don't understand. You know, being a creator takes a lot of time out of your day, guys. I mean, there's a lot of yeah, probably Betty. Um, but there's a lot of kind of investigative work you do so that you know what's going on the YouTube streets, right? There's, the graphic part of things. There's planning what you're going to do. It takes a lot of time. Um, I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't retired, because to work full time and then do this, no, I couldn't. Oh, okay. So you'd have to follow the thread of conversation. There was a chat going back and forth, and it just turned ugly. Oh, like everything else in this case, right, Ginger? I mean, it doesn't end. But I mean, either way, yeah. Yes. I feel bad for Hong because he experienced a lot of hateful, racist words against him. Yes, I agree. I, you know, it's like I said earlier, where I think some of you may not have. Yeah, Joyce, you're right. Bullies raise bullies, and children learn what they live. Yeah. Do you think because they're hiding behind, you know, I I hate when people say that, and I don't mean anything against you guys, but here's why. Um so I'm on here every day, right? I'm not the type of person to to come on um in the flesh without having put on my makeup and dress up and all that other stuff. If if I had to do that, I'd do a live maybe once a week, honestly. This way, I can be with you guys more. Um, I've heard rumblings, that if you can't show me your face, I don't know what you're like. I don't know about you guys, but I am me. And some of you have seen in our members' videos, I I am me. I am the same whether I'm in the flesh or whether I'm sitting here talking to you through my picture on screen. Um, and so, yeah, I I am who I am. And and so I don't like to say people are hiding behind their keyboard, but I think some people do, right? People wonder, well, I don't go out either. I mean, to let Lacey out, yes, but to take out the garbage, yes, but I really don't go out much. Pick up my um grocery order. Thank you, pitter patter. And that is what I've come to. I'm just me, right? And I think most of you know that. I think anybody that comes in here, um, that has spent any time with me here, you know that I am who I am, right? Um, I'm not any different when I'm in the flesh than I am sitting here. But there are people. I think people get, instead of being who they are, I think they get bold on the keyboard. Maybe because they feel untouchable. But if this case has shown us anything, it's shown us that your words on the using the keyboard and on the screen can get you in trouble if you're not careful. There's people being sued for it. So, whether you're on screen saying it or whether you're typing it doesn't matter, right? So what it really boils down to is people need to stop blaming each other, right? Remember, I shared this one thing with you and I'm going to share it again. Imagine being bitten by a snake, and instead of focusing on healing from the poison, you chase the snake to understand why it bit you and to prove that you didn't deserve it. Right? That's what's going on. And people need to quit chasing the snake and heal themselves, right? Betty, I couldn't say that better. God, wrap your loving arms around this world and bless us. Yeah. Yeah. Some have invented an image or identity for their channel. Yeah. Yeah. Some drama is their thing. I heard one say, my channel isn't about missing people. My channel is whatever I say it is. And my focus is not on Sebastian. My focus is on my channel. And that's what they've said. That's not me. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. And make that clear, And, the ones hiding that our bullies can spout off the rhetoric. They don't have any ramifications in person. Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, and if that's what they want, if that's really why they're here, they want the drama, then why don't they just leave the true crime genre alone? That's what I don't get. Because if we're talking about missing person, a missing child, a missing autistic child, you've got Emma Baum, a missing pregnant mother who had to have her baby by now. Suzanne Simpson, who more than likely was unalived. Anna Walsh, who more than likely was unalived by both their husbands. Summer Wells, who we don't know where she is. I mean, you've got all these. So don't bring the drama and the crap to it, right? Right? I mean, leave it alone. Thank you, Joyce. I appreciate that. Maybe he saw Penny and got dizzy and passed out from the late night supper, got stuck inside the bed headboard. Well, I mean, there's a few things that could have happened, right? But then how did he get abducted? Right? Right? I mean, We know that he had the problem with the water on his brain, so that if he hit his head, he could have died, right? So if he did, and some were saying that they were giving him sleeping medication because he couldn't sleep. Maybe he was overdosed, or maybe he was restless, fell out of bed, hit his head. That was a thud. I mean, we could speculate all day, but we don't know. Yeah. I hope these people are aware that the FBI Internet Crimes Department is on board in this case. Exactly. Can you imagine what's going down with this, guys? When all is said and done and the dust settles, who's going to be still standing? It's a scary thought. I hear ya. They think the keyboard keeps them hidden. I think they do. But that's what I don't understand, is that this is real, and it's live, and you're talking with real people. Each one of you is a real person that I'm loving getting to know, honestly. You're real people. And I mean, I've seen people go after their own people in chat. I mean, I've seen all kinds of things, and it's awful. I I maybe it's this old granny. I just don't understand it. Yeah, there've been a lot of lies, right, Pitter Patter? One time I speculated that he took all of his medications because he was depressed. I mean, there's so many places we could go with that, right? Was he hit and his head hit something, and that's how he, but here's my thing. I don't want to believe that he's not with us anymore. I just don't, guys, because I can't even imagine how Seth would feel, how he's going to cope with that if that's the case. And so I don't even like to go there, right? I mean, we all know it's a possibility, right? Because we know he didn't walk out of the house. I hate to think of SA trafficking. I'd rather think more of labor trafficking. I think Nick had brought that up once. Well, if it was an accident, why not call 911? Because of the 5 prior CPS reports. I think that they knew they were in trouble. That's my opinion. And it wouldn't have looked good. Right? I mean, think about it. You or I, yes, would have called 911. But if it was an accident, I could see them not calling because being afraid of going to prison. Um, yeah, I agree. Hendersonville should have kept the public informed. Um, you know, and isn't that the way it's supposed to be with an Amber Alert? I thought they're supposed to give regular updates, right? And they haven't. Um, and I think personally, that's why many of us don't like Craddock, along with his snuggle struggle statement. But because every time he does get up there, he's like, I have nothing. There's nothing. Don't freaking lie to us. Say, whatever evidence, we're building a case, whatever evidence we have, we cannot share with you right now. We can understand that, right? But he won't say that. It's like he's smug. Yeah. Yeah. Sebastian never took his eyes off of whoever the green herding person was. He stopped dead in his tracks. And then Katie kind of pushed him forward to the other side of the car. But he never, going around that car, he never took his eyes off of that person. Yeah. Not saving face, saving your butt. Saving your butt. Sorry. I mean, first of all, I can't even imagine having 5 CPS reports against me, right? And I can't even imagine having one. But you got 5 CPS reports hanging over your head. And then something happens. Yeah. At Night has responded to the death threats. Let me see if I can find it. Well, they did. I'll share this one, but that's not about the death threats, but I'll share it. So it says public update on search efforts for Sebastian, and this was 49 minutes ago. At Night and its partners have no significant updates to report at this time. Nevertheless, we remain resolute in our unwavering commitment to locating 16-year-old Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and diligently pursuing every lead with unwavering focus. We continue to analyze the information received, including public tips and surveillance data, while maintaining ongoing coordination with our partners. And then it says, call Sumner County, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, tips to TBI, and reach out to your local FBI office or the nearest American embassy or consulate. So there's that one. Let me see. Oh, okay. And then there's this one. At Night responds to public death threat on X. At Night has encountered an alarming escalation in threats against its personnel, with the most recent incident being a direct death threat made publicly on the platform X. The individual, I'm not going to name him. You can see it right here, guys. Posted a tweet at 6:16 a.m. on January 19th stating, and I'm not going to read that either. This threat was not hidden in a direct message, but was brazenly posted as a tweet for all to see, showcasing a shocking level of audacity and disregard for legal repercussions. This incident is part of a disturbing trend marking the 10th direct threat received by At Night's managing partners, affiliates, associates, and volunteers across 4 states. However, the public nature of this threat, highlighted by the screenshot provided, significantly amplifies the severity of the situation. The tweet, which has garnered 87 views, was flagged by X with a visibility limit notice for potentially violating rules against violent speech and was since deleted. I must have screenshotted it before it was deleted. First and foremost, we at Night Private Intelligence remain steadfast. Such public threats will not intimidate us. Rather, they solidify our commitment to our mission. This threat, like the others, is being treated with the utmost seriousness and currently under investigation by multiple law enforcement agencies. The open nature of this threat on a public platform only heightens the urgency of our response. We strongly encourage anyone with information about the individual behind these threats or anyone who has witnessed similar public threats online to come forward. Your assistance is crucial in ensuring the safety of our team and in continuing our work. Despite these escalating threats, At Night's dedication to finding Sebastian Rogers remains unwavering. The public display of this threat on X only strengthens our resolve to pursue justice without deviation. We thank our community and partners for their continued support during these trying times. So there you have it, guys. That is their update. Okay, so let's see. My dreams are mostly known to be right on. Gotcha. Yes, if he is being kept safe somewhere, the adults have a duty to report him being there. Who are you talking about, Joyce? Who's trying to make a name for himself? Their employees are across 4 states. That's what it said. Which is sad. If you think about it. Oh, Craddock. Gotcha. Been a little while since we talked about Craddock, so I wasn't sure who you were talking about. Yeah. I know there's some people that think that the sheriff who passed away, that might be linked. There were witnesses to him falling, so I guess I just don't think that that's related to any of this. But we know that the sheriff that did pass away, said that Sebastian walked into his house and never came back out. So he was looking at things, and I don't think he meant that he physically saw Sebastian walk into his house, right? I just think he meant that when he came home from the Texas Roadhouse, he never walked out again. I think that's what he meant by that. But yeah, Joyce, I think it's ego. EGO. Big time. Big time. That's my opinion. You know, and I am one that will always give law enforcement the benefit of the doubt, because my son-in-law was in law enforcement, and I understand what they go through, right? So I will always try to give them the benefit of the doubt until, for some reason, they show me they can't be trusted. And as far as, they are public, they're supposed to help the public, right? They're public servants, okay? And to make a statement, even if it was jokingly about abuse and calling it a snuggle struggle, that I lost all respect for that person after that. So, and I mean, I actually saw the statement. So I agree with you, Ginger. Law enforcement was tricked and confused for the first 4 days of the investigation, but they should have gone by the book, no matter what was told them. My opinion. Well, Cheryl, was the house locked? Do we believe anything that was said? Because there were a lot of lies and inconsistencies, right? So, I mean, was it locked? Was there a thud? Right? I mean, right. And Joyce, it's like anything else. There's good and bad in police departments. There's good and bad in fire departments. There's good and bad in any kind of law enforcement, FBI, TBI. It doesn't matter. Not everybody is bad. But if we didn't have law enforcement, I mean, guys, that was the way it was trying to go for a while, right? What happens then? Rioting, looting, martial law. I mean, We need our law enforcement officers. Right. So if it was a law enforcement officer that called in to report Sebastian missing, yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Going by that picture that we watched last night, or that we looked at last night, that was a satellite photo. The white truck and the house directly across. That retired Hendersonville police, not retired, but reserve police officer. Yeah. You believe that, Aquarian? I hope so. It just seems like lately, especially on the YouTube streets, there's more bad than there is good. Sometimes, it just seems that way, doesn't it? Yeah, we have to have faith in the good ones. We do. We really do, because we need them. And Seth needs them. Seth needs them to help figure out what's going on, where Sebastian is, right? He needs them. He needs Dog. In my opinion, At Night and Dog are coming up with more than law enforcement have. I don't know. We don't know what law enforcement has, right? I mean, we just don't. We just don't. Well, I'm glad you believe that. I guess I do too. It's just been really hard lately to see much good in anything. I think that's the thing. There's just been so much garbage in this case. And when we're focusing on this case, that's kind of like all you see, right? So get outside of that, and then, things can look better. Yeah. The bad just get amplified. I agree, Joyce. And wasn't that the protocol that was set up after John Bonet was unalived? I mean, I thought who was it that said that? Was it Jen Coffindaffer who said that protocols were put into place after the John Bonet Ramsey case? That things were supposed to be done, right? But when you have a good old boy agreement, what you gonna do, right? And they're gonna have to live with that. Sumner County, Hendersonville Police, they're gonna have to live with, I hope, they'll be held accountable, whatever that means. Legally held accountable for dropping the ball from the very beginning. They checked cameras all around everywhere. They got change. There's nothing. That's one of the things that stepdad talked about. But that's one of the things that was talked about, how a child can just disappear, not be seen on any cameras anywhere. Anything. If you look up and down Long Hollow Pike, there are businesses there. If you look in the neighborhood surrounding Sebastian's home, there are cameras and Ring cameras and everything. And they checked them all. Well, they said they did. Nothing that we know of. I agree, Canine. I think there's more. I think there's more than what we know. Right. Yep. The house was searched, but I don't know how good that was because there were so many people there. And I just read something. Tony saying big news is coming doesn't help if we don't know when. I think it keeps people, I don't know. The thing from at night doesn't sound like there's news coming. What we just read tonight, did it? I mean, typically they knew before us, right? Unless law enforcement's not working with them anymore. I mean, I don't know. But at night didn't sound like they had anything coming out. They had nothing to report. And I mean, what is the big news? Seriously, what could the big news be versus, I mean, big news to me would be Sebastian is found. That would be the big news. Must be pampering him or hiding him in a really good area. Well, at night had mentioned Stanley, Wisconsin, and I showed you guys. That's like an hour away from me. And it's all farmland. Nothing around there. Couple thousand population. Right? Joyce, Seth wanted them to come in more recently, like within the last month or two, something like that. And he said no to that. They were, when law enforcement brought them in, they did go through. Yeah, exactly, SRB. And that was what I was going to say. I got sidetracked, but I read somewhere recently that it was supposedly on a video where Seth had said that Katie's girlfriend was there when he got there that morning. I want to say Laura. Is that right, Laura? Don't quote me. I could be wrong, but it was Katie's girlfriend. Yeah. I agree. I agree. It is difficult, though, for some people, and I say that because I'm human. Laura, okay. That's what I thought. So, um, what did they say? There was 4 people besides Katie there that day? So, Seth, Laura, Kathy. I don't know. CP had dogs, Sebastian's dogs. But LE did bring in canine dogs in the beginning. They've not. Seth wanted them to come in. I don't. It's been a little bit now, but she said no. Michelle, okay. So it would have been Seth, Laura, Kathy, and Michelle that were there with Katie. 5 people there that morning before Chris got there. And not to mention the amount of law enforcement that went through there before they ever did any kind of forensic testing or anything else. Melissa, yeah, not Michelle, Melissa. Sister, right? Yeah. So, yeah. And then we go back to where was he last seen? Well, as far as we know, it was a Texas Roadhouse. Right? I do think he made it home. And the reason I say that is because of the flashlight video. There's just too much corroborating evidence, and I don't believe in coincidences. The flashlight video is important in this case. You know, anything else, what was said in interviews, I just don't believe, guys. Yes, Melissa did say something like that, and she wrote it on Facebook. No, Aquarian, he didn't tell law enforcement that they couldn't bring canines in their home. He didn't. He let them come in. Seth wanted Cadaver Dog to go in there later, like just a few months ago. And he was told no. No, you can't tell law enforcement. Well, I mean, I suppose you could, but they'll get a warrant, so then you're tough out of luck, right? So remember, they were cooperating with the police. Yeah. A serpent has a forked tongue. People talk out of both sides of their mouths. Yeah. I don't believe anything that was said. Right. That's okay, Aquarian. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, they did let the dogs come in the beginning when everything was going on. Just Seth wanted them to come in later and was told no. Um, but yes, anything now, I mean, I look back at everything that was said in all of those interviews. I'm not taking any of it as fact. There's nothing to corroborate it, right? The only thing that was said in an interview that was true was that they went to Texas Roadhouse. Because we have the video for it. Anything else, I mean, I haven't seen video of the bowling alley, of BJ's, right? So the only thing that I'm going by that was said in the interviews that was proven to be true is that they did go to the Texas Roadhouse. And then I heard that the neighbors saw Katie pull into their garage after they got home from the Texas Roadhouse, and then somebody did bring the garbage out. So those are the only I can't I have decided in my mind and in my heart that I cannot believe anything that was said in any of those interviews anymore. Because unless it's corroborated by evidence, right? There was one thing that was said in an interview. Sebastian took his flashlight. Why? Think about it, guys. Why would that be brought up? If you got up and your child was missing, are you going to think about that detail? Are you going to think about, oh, where's his flashlight? Right? Hey, Nick, good to see ya. Sorry for everything you guys are going through. All the hate. Yuck. Threats. We were just talking about that a little bit ago. Horrible. But yeah, everything that was said in those interviews, unless it's corroborated, I'm just not going to believe it. But the flashlight thing, why did she bring that up? It needed to be a part of the script because there was a video. I mean, so that kind of goes along with that, right? Exactly, SRB. They needed it. Even though they said it was a trash truck. Yeah. Well, yeah, it is a big mystery because we don't have all the facts. Oh, amen, K9. Yes. All of us here feel that way, Nick. We know it's got to be tough. I can't even imagine what you're going through. We're just trying to stay over here in our own little bubble, trying to stay out of all the drama and all the, yeah, we're just letting them have at it over there. That is a good point, Ginger. I don't know. She's not a lawyer. Wendy was a lawyer. Wendy is a lawyer. Right? So I would say no. Yeah. Trash truck bebopping. Yeah. Yeah. They just drive right, even though fences are there and, there's a culvert there, like a little ditch kind of thing. but they're driving right through that, right? Without leaving heavy marks in the grass and crazy. That's right. No drama here. Our focus is Sebastian. Absolutely. We want him home. Want him home. Why is the PI hiding that picture of the one car? That's a good question. You know, is it a ploy? Maybe he just didn't want us to, because he was trying to say that that car was the same one that was the Uber for the airport, right? And he knew that if he didn't black out that part, you could tell from the top part of the car that it wasn't the same. Maybe there's that. Maybe you could see somebody in the car. Or maybe there's no reason for it at all. He just did it to get people talking. I wouldn't put that past him. I mean, there could be a number of reasons, right? Granny warriors, crime busters. We're gonna bust this crime, right? Yeah. I mean, there's a reason, but I just don't know what his reason would be, why he did that. But I liked what the mob said tonight earlier. You know, like I said, I want to encourage you guys to go over there because he showed how that car wasn't sitting. We weren't looking at it sideways, actually. We were looking at it kind of from the back, top down. It was kind of slanted. So that's why you couldn't see the headlights. And it makes sense. He's so good at that stuff. I wish I was better at that kind of stuff. He took a flashlight, but no coat or no shoes. Seriously, when Sebastian didn't like going outside without shoes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I was thinking at the Texas Roadhouse, he was in short sleeves and he didn't act like he was cold. I mean, typically, if you're cold, you're going to put your hands up on your arms. And he was standing outside that car staring at Katie and green hoodie woman, whoever she was, the whole time. He didn't take his eyes off them. And he wasn't holding his arms like he was cold. So, where did he get the video of the Uber? Well, I mean, I'm guessing here, I'm speculating. So, you know, don't quote me. But allegedly, what I heard is that he was going through the neighborhood, talking to the neighbors and trying to get video. So that's how I'm assuming he got it. There's a lady who was offering to pay the homeowner for the video. Ugh. They all come out of the woodwork, don't they? I'm thinking Mom bought Sebastian a pair of shoes to wear out to Texas Roadhouse. Could be. I mean, they were out shopping that day. That's not far-fetched. Right? Sebastian was the only one not wearing a jacket. Yeah, everyone else had kind of a light jacket on, didn't they? Or a hoodie or... No, there were some guys that were sitting by the bench, I think, that didn't have jackets on. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell. Everybody's different. Some people, are cold-blooded, some people are warm-blooded, and, he may have not just been cold. He wasn't acting like he was cold is all I'm saying. I mean, he could have been, but he wasn't acting like it, right? Let's see what else we got here. Um, so what video was that homeowner wanting to buy? And I do think there's something with that white truck behind the house too, guys. The person who wants a video is another creator who is for finding Sebastian, wants a copy of it to turn over to another creator who is amazing on the Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, the only thing that I worry about the video that the PI won't share with the mob. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, the only thing I worry about with all that stuff is, first of all, I hope law enforcement has these videos, because that PI has said that he doesn't share anything. Yeah. Well, that would make sense. But then think about that though, guys. What if, you put that information out there, you're doxing somebody. That's kind of what going real life is about, right? That's for people like At Night and Nick and Dog and law enforcement to have. Not us. Right? I've been seeing a lot of doxing going on, mainly on X. I can't believe how much is going on X. It's crazy. And people just don't realize how much trouble they could get themselves into by doing that. I think the white pickup and that RV camper are important, and the friendship KP had with that neighbor. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That was, right there in their own backyard and not being checked, right? Because it's a police officer's house. So why are they going to check that? Probably the police officer that they talked to on the three-way call. I don't know, guys. Could be, we don't know, I guess, but it's kind of like we said earlier. We don't believe in coincidence, right? But I think we'll call it there for a night, and we'll go through our grannyism for today. That's kind of what we've been talking about tonight. Right now, because we don't have all the facts, it seems impossible that we're ever going to find Sebastian, right? But it always seems that way until it's done. Let's make it possible. And that can go for anything in your life. It always seems impossible until it's done. I don't know about you guys, but I want to believe that it's possible that Sebastian can come home, that he will be home. Right? And it's going to take the army. That's your entire life. I know. Sometimes I feel that way too. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming on in. Yes, keep sharing the flyers, light it up green. If you can make flyers and pass them out in your area, please do so. We need to keep Sebastian's name and face out there, right? It needs to be kept out there. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all, and have a wonderful night. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.